going on, you guys? Won't be no fancy editing for this video. I'm also losing my voice. But Gervonta Tank Davis, where's his pay-per-view numbers? His pay-per-view with Isaac Cruz is Friday, 8:20 a.m. Central Time as I'm doing this video. And it's still no word as to what Gervonta Tank Davis numbers are. You see, the reason why I'm even doing this video in the first place, because normally I don't care about pay-per-view, and I think pay-per-view is a dead deal. I think it's just a way to pay the fighters um, on the PBC side. I think it's just a way to pay them. I don't think it necessarily means that they are stars just because they're on pay-per-view all the time. But Tank Davis pay-per-view numbers that still has not come out. Not a projection, not anything, right? And when Terrence Crawford fought Sean Porter, they couldn't wait till that following Monday to find anything, any number that came out. They was looking for it. Keith Idec or Kevin Iole, one of those guys came out with the projected numbers, 190K. Then about a day later or so, it went down to 135K. It is for the first time ever in a modern social media age of boxing. Pay-per-view numbers actually went down. And I found that pretty strange. But, I don't really care. I didn't expect it to do good. It was a hassle to buy it. It was a pain in the ass for older people to buy it. And it was just sabotage from the get-go. So I didn't expect Crawford Porter to necessarily do good, but I did my part and paid the $70 or $75, whatever it was, for the pay-per-view. But fast forward to today, we still haven't heard word as to what is Gervonta Tank Davis pay-per-views. And I'm a fan of Tank, so disclaimer for all the sensitive boxing fans, Tank fans, I'm a fan of Tank Davis. Dude is dope, okay? But I'm just showing you guys how stupid this shit is when you talking these pay-per-views, bro. Pay-per-view, it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss in the sport of boxing. They say Canelo Alvarez did 800K, right? But I heard it really didn't do 800K. Bob Arum came out and said Charlo did less than 70K.
But the Charlo brother pay-per-view didn't do 70,000 buys, and the Gervonta Davis fight did a little over 120. They can say 200, but it didn't. We know what the numbers are.
Tank Davis, they didn't even do 200K with Leo Santa Cruz. And after hearing what Bob had to say, you guys like to believe Bob when it fits your agenda, when it fits your narrative. Let's believe Bob here too. Let's believe Bob Arum here too. See, I'm losing my voice and shit. Let's believe him here too. Because you want to believe him when it fits your narrative, your agenda. This don't fit your narrative, do it? No, I don't. Hey, I don't expect these guys' numbers to do good, man. I don't expect it. Boxing is a niche sport. These guys, certain guys, you got to match them up right. They got to be promoted right. Other guys, you don't see them. And they've been spamming pay-per-views. It's the holiday season. People money tight. People got gifts to buy, and they trying to slap pay-per-view tickets on these fights. You think how many people you really think bought that Tank Davis pay-per-view? For one, people wasn't believing in Isaac Cruz prior to the fight. They didn't know who he was. No, there wasn't even no talking. There wasn't even no talking. No trash talk, no anything. Now, all these guys can pack the house, sell out the arenas and all that. But as far as buying pay-per-view buys, that's a hard sell in the sport of boxing today. No matter how you slice it, no matter how fans want to fake the funk, acting like 200K is good, 300K is good, 400K is good, 500K is good. I give 600K is solid. Anything under that is a bust, depending on who the fighter is. And if Tank Davis did less than 100K, That's catastrophically low. That's catastrophically low. Oh man. But see how stupid that is? And then when you know this, if you've been doing this boxing shit for a while, you know that the pay-per-view model is a dying model. And the reason why it's still somewhat thriving is because the PBC keeps it alive, spamming pay-per-view fights. I mean, they putting Luis Ortiz, Charles Martin on pay-per-view. When the last time we seen those dudes? When the last time fans seen those dudes, bro? Yeah. When last time fans seen them, man? How you expect people to pay? I mean, $40, that's nice. And honestly, if you're a hardcore fan, that's a good card. $40 is very reasonable. Honestly, it's easy. It's easier to drop $40 versus at $80. You know what I'm saying, for a hit or miss. And the reason why the UFC does so well is because, for one, they promote it better, and for two, they stack the damn cards. So if the main event is a bust, at least they got their nights worth of quality fights prior. At least the fans gets riled up for the main event. They do it. They got it mastered over there. An African, a Nigerian, Israel Adesanya, and a Polish guy, Jan Blachowicz, did 800K in the UFC. They say Canelo Alvarez did 800K with Caleb Plant, but I heard otherwise. I heard it was much lower than that. And of course, you don't hear anything else about these numbers, though. But when we talking, when one of the biggest fights in boxing to be made, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That's one of the main drawbacks. Ex-fighters, pay-per-view numbers ain't well. Nobody else in boxing is on doing pay-per-view. Nobody else in boxing like that is really attempting pay-per-view. I say about only 5% of the boxers out there, not even, is even doing pay-per-view. Wilder Fury, what was their numbers? The third one. Probably wasn't even that good. Nobody was talking about that. We just got a great fight. Who gives a fuck? Right? But I'm just keeping that same energy today. Where's Tank Davis pay-per-view numbers at? It's Friday. Normally we hear something by midweek, right? Like Wednesday. You know, they hopped on Crawford's numbers. They hopped on it so fast, it went down. Oh my God. This is what we're dealing with, people. How your pay-per-view numbers go down, bro? You know, see, I don't, when I heard it, like, it is what it is, man. Who cares? Crawford's a bad fighter. He's a bad motherfucker. Who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? But it's funny how a guy pay-per-view numbers for the first time in the social media age of boxing, somebody's numbers actually went down. I mean, everybody else's numbers seems to just constantly rise, right? See, I don't believe in none of those numbers anyway. It didn't take Bob Arum to tell me this. I just know. They're not putting up. They're not giving us. They're not giving us quality cards. Mixed match type fights. You know, and the fights that we really want to see is almost like pulling teeth to make them. So where Tank Davis pay-per-view numbers at? Nobody seems to know. Nobody seems to care. Because they know they was low. And this is no slight towards Tank. I'm a fan of Tank Davis. But come on, man. We know them pay-per-view numbers we know that shit was a bust. It's probably another reason why Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe was so irritable. They was way more irritable than usual. Way more irritable than usual. Maybe because those numbers just ain't doing good. Maybe the numbers ain't hitting. But that's why you got to start putting up quality fights. But see, that's the problem with boxing. There's no real structure to where, frankly speaking, the fighters make quite a bit of money. And these fighters expect quite a bit of money. So you're not going to get the quality cards that you was getting back when Don King was running shit. Now, of course, Don King was paying, but he was also getting a lot as well. But he also put up some of the best cards in boxing. Stacked cards. This is why these numbers are, this is part of the reason why the pay-per-view numbers are hurting in boxing. I'm not about to sit here and be deluded like most of these guys and act like 300K is good numbers. It's not. 350K is not. It's not good. It's not good at all. It's not good at all. These fighters, you don't see them enough, right? And the PBC guys, they spamming pay-per-views. I mean, they putting Keith Thurman and Barrios on pay-per-view. You can't even expect that to do good. Boxing fans probably don't even know who Keith Thurman is. They probably don't even know who he is. Barrios, they definitely don't know who that is. And if they do know, they know he got knocked out by Tank. And they do know who Keith is. Well, he lost to Pacquiao, didn't he? I mean, come on. And they putting that shit on pay-per-view. Just because they putting shit on pay-per-view don't make these dudes big stars and shit, bro. That's how they pay these dudes, man. That's how they get all that back-end money and shit. Low guarantees, high back-end money. The pay-per-view determines the back-end. But in order for you to get a high back-end, people got to buy your pay-per-views. And in order for you to do good on pay-per-views, people got to see you. They got to get attached to you. They got to get attached to you. They got to get attached to you, man. The fans got to see you enough on television to the point where they want to see you fight on pay-per-view and they're willing to buy your pay-per-view. You got to build a fight. It's a process. And the fighter has to fight constantly. But guess what? They can't do that because these fighters want so much money per fight, depending on who they are. If they're a top-level guy, they get in that bag. They're not about to fight every 3, 4, 5, 6 months like that. Some dudes fighting once, twice a year. So I didn't expect Tank Davis pay-per-view against Isaac Cruz to do well at all. It's the holiday season, everything else. But they still are very bold enough to try to put a price tag on a lot of these fights. Charlo's did less than 70K. Tank Davis did less than what? 120, whatever he said. You heard him. Yeah. But at the end of the day, boxing fans was quick to see what Terrence Crawford numbers was. They was quick. They couldn't wait. It's like he's the only fighter that they look for to use the pay-per-view numbers. But nobody else. Nobody was checking for Tank. Tank is the guy that they promote. See, we already knew it was a high probability that Crawford numbers wasn't going to do well. We already knew that. But with Tank Davis, we expected to do well, right? They promote him as this cash cow, this big money fighter, things of that nature. But come on, man, the numbers show otherwise. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.